What's going on, man? Welcome back to another video, dog. Oh, I'm on a roll tonight. Today, we have Flight Reacts to a comparison of the most painful punishments. What's the most craziest thing y'all can think of? Put it in the comments. Let's get right into it.
What do you do, Flight Crew? FTC. Flight Team stand up. I go by Flight, but you can call me FTC.
I'm not doing that.
So clean educationalist. Now,
I go by RUGER, but you can call me YPN.
The last time we reacted to Echoes, I believe we did the comparisons of the most painful unalive moments by certain people. You guys was messing with it. This time, man, we have comparisons of the most painful punishments, bro. Believe it or not, bro, all the way back in the days, like 1320 BC, 320 BC, right? I think. Bro, they used to just do way different type of punishments. Now, usually nowadays, if you guys are not sleeping under a rock, if you do a crazy crime, most of the time you just get like a life sentence, and then at worst to worst, you can get the death penalty. But back then, for criminals, especially like very, very weird different cases, they would do public, you know what I'm saying, like crazy punishments, bro. And they obviously just can't do that anymore. So let's see what was the most
public hangings and all type of stuff.
The church in the Middle Ages, so the Inquisition is after you now. They've used a leather strap to secure a device that looks like a two-way fork with two sharp points on your neck. One of its sides is pushing against your sternum, and the other against your chin. At first, you tried to keep your head up to lessen the pain, but you couldn't stay like this for long. The so-called heretic's fork wasn't deadly, but made the victim suffer from the tiniest move. However, on the scale of pain based on scientific research, this kind of suffering gets only 27 points out of 140.
What? What's worse than that?
In this video, you'll find out about the worst kind of torture in the history of humankind. So, viewer discretion is advised. You have at least a few times in your life been subjected to one of the less obvious kinds of torture. It's just that the executioner wasn't persistent enough when tickling you. In ancient China, this was the primary method of punishing delinquents from noble families, since tickles didn't leave any traces of torture on the body, and the victim was able to recover quite fast if the procedure didn't go too far, of course. In European countries, goats were employed as a torture device. The culprit was tied up, and salty water was poured on their feet to make the animal lick them. What's so bad about that, you might ask? It's just that there's an incredible number of nerve endings in the feet, and the goat's rough tongue would irritate them quite a lot. So, after a few hours, the tickling starts inducing not just laughter.
Bro, I'm sorry. Like, why does that just sound freaky as hell, bro?
It does.
You're using another animal's tongue to lick your feet for
it
torture?
is.
Like,
it is.
That's kind of crazy, bro.
But also
Bro,
painful muscle contractions.
They'll freak the hell out back then, dog.
Control over your body, which causes extreme stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. Moreover, the nerve endings responsible for reacting to tickles also signalize pain. It's just that if we're being tickled for fun, and for a short time, our reaction to stress doesn't go beyond laughter and light.
After a certain point, you be sitting there yelling, "Ah! Get the fuck off!" Ah! So I mean, bro, there's some twisted people that's been on this planet.
Sensations in the body. However, if done for hours, this causes the nervous system such overload that the lightest touch causes unbearable physical pain. Now imagine that
twisted,
it's not your feet being tickled, it's your private parts. In India, interrogation of criminals was accompanied by placing a small bug on the culprit's genitals and covering the insect with a walnut shell so that it didn't escape. The constant irritation of super-sensitive areas caused by the bug's movements made the torture unbearable very quickly, and the executioners got any confession they wanted. Eventually, tickle torture would result in death by asphyxiation if the victim developed a throat spasm caused by uncontrollable laughter.
Bro, what? Bro, I was just today now finding out. Bro, you can literally be unalive by getting tickled.
Yes, sir. Yes, you can.
What?
There's some twisted people on this planet. Twisted.
Their possible outcomes were cardiac arrest or a brain aneurysm provoked by serious stress. Yet on the pain scale, tickle torture got only 32 points since the suffering it brought.
That's worse than that.
was mostly psychological. This is very similar to the next kind of torture, the Chinese water torture. At first, the person was immobilized, and then cold water would slowly drip onto their face or head. Gradually, the constant skin irritation caused by the drops and splashes would make the nervous system hypersensitive, the inability to move, and the wait for the next drop.
Who the fuck thinks of something like this, bro? Who thinks of something like this, bro? What's wrong with you? You got real life
Literally
issues.
start driving the person insane. Maybe you've even seen this torture in movies. Here's the paradox, though. There's no proof that it was ever used in China. This kind of torture was first described by an Italian lawyer on the cusp of the 16th century. In the mid-18th century, German and French doctors attempted to use this method to cure mental disorders. Moreover, the very term Chinese water torture came into active use owing to a trick by the legendary Harry Houdini. So, does the water drop torture actually work? Since it can look harmless at first glance, a few bloggers have dared to try it out themselves. The water drop torture was also tested by the Mythbusters. All participants knew they were actually perfectly safe and could be freed at any moment. Yet everyone went through a hellish experience. At first, the experimenters suffered from cold, thirst, psychological tension, and physical discomfort. Then their entire bodies started aching, and breathing problems arose. It all ended in a panic and desperate pleas to be released.
That is the worst.
In addition,
That's
after this
awkward.
episode, the Mythbusters received
I say that's like more of awkward, if anything. Like,
Right.
bro, just a drop of water, bro. Like,
And you just laying there.
I mean, obviously, I feel like it'll be anybody's pet peeve. Like, if I just see anything like a faucet dripping and stuff like that, I want that fixed ASAP.
Yeah.
So just imagine you just sitting there watching a drop of water hit your throat.
I think the worst part about it is the fact that you can't move. I think that's what it is. They saying talking about the water droplets got you going crazy. It's the fact that you got to sit here for hours immobile, like you can't do or you can't move at all. That by itself is torture. Like, is that not one of these things?
that the Chinese water torture may cause mental issues that persist for 20 hours. So on the pain
Well, I got
the
mental
water
issues
drop
that
torture
persisted
received
for 24
warning.
years, so I don't
Huge
think it's that
question
bad.
as to whether it was actually used in practice, at least because it was replaced by much crueler kinds of water torture. One of them was the Swedish drink. This name was invented by the Germans. During the 30 Years' War, they became victims of the Swedish army servicemen, mercenaries, or marauders. This method of torture went as follows. Through a funnel, the perpetrators would pour buckets of the most disgusting liquids imaginable into the victim's throat. They used everything from urine and filth to manure and feces. This was the Swedes' way of torturing the civilians, to force them to give up their money or food.
Nigga, that's not even a punishment. That's robbery, bruh. Man, what type of sick, cold-ass robber doing that, man?
Not only did
I thought these were for punishments like they commit some crime, especially a weirdo-ass type of crime, bruh. Nigga wanted some money and food, bro. You doing that?
And then at the same time, you think I'm about to give you anything after you pour piss in it?
Swedish
Tripping.
drink. They also contracted.
Bro, I'm sorry, yo. In this time period when they was doing stuff like this back in the day, bro, like, there would have been no way possible, bro, I would have made it to like 20 years old, bro. Because I 100% would have crashed out. I'm not doing any of this. Y'all gonna have to catch me, bro. I'm fighting everybody in that crowd and whooping everybody in that crowd, bro. Yo, no BS. Who taking, you taking flight, bro?
Furthermore,
One
Yes.
versus 103 people.
Oh, you ain't by yourself. I'm right with you. He speaks for both of us. I vote with you. You my partner, bro. Hey, you ain't. Come on, bro. We back to back.
So, on the pain,
And I'm like, come on, bro.
Swedish
We
drink
bring switches and all that if we got to. You know what I'm saying?
Possible 140. Very often.
Why you ain't say
one
nothing?
kind of torture ranged from
We ain't
public
cool? Nah, I'm
humiliation,
sorry.
accompanied by intense discomfort, to a death punishment with unbearable suffering. One of such hellish inventions was the cane. It's a large board consisting of
I ain't gonna hold you. Not, like he said, back then, I'm a Jew, not the. I'm a problem now. I don't listen now. If you ain't got an actual gun to my head or something like that, I ain't, boy, what? Alright.
two halves with a hole between them, used to keep the device on a person's neck.
You gonna have to do your words to me.
So the culprit had to support the board with their hands and balance it while walking. to intensify the punishment. The person in a
Bro, look at the dude.
They would have never.
Right, that just looks crazy, bro.
That would have never even caught me.
Like, are we gonna say that, like, bro, like anything before like 1900, like 1800, 1700,
insane,
like, bro. I mean, to be honest, anybody like that was living like before like 19. I said, when did TV get like color? Whenever TV got color and there was some type
60s,
of internet,
50s?
bro. If you was living before then, bro, I actually feel bad, bro, because you missing out on everything that's going on right now, and then this is what they had to deal with, like. Man,
I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe not too far back. On some shit like 1930. Once you pass like 1930, 1920, then it's like, damn, like it's over with.
could also be changed.
I like Mafia times, like the Mafia game. I wish I was born at that time.
Parameters would change according to the severity of the punishment. It could weigh anywhere from 9 to 15 kilograms and have a square, rectangular, or disproportionate, irregular shape. Sometimes they were even double or triple.
Oh, they
would be
really ain't
large
like
that
you.
The victim would be unable to touch their face to eat or drink. If they weren't helped by those who cared, the victim would die a slow death of hunger and thirst. Yet the cane was also used as an execution device. The convict was placed inside a tall cage made specifically for this purpose. A cane would be secured above. Then, a prop would be taken from under the victim's feet, and they would slowly.
Bro, you know what I just thought about? The reason why I thought about it because they were talking about something with for criminals and comics or something like that. Bro, can you imagine the amount of people like back then? Like, I'm talking maybe like 1500s and 1700s when they finally like made like all the laws of just everything that exists, such as like, okay, like stealing, shoplifting, or you know what I'm saying, like robbery, like etc. and stuff like that. Bro, do you ever think that like, bro, they literally let, especially like who they call good people around like wherever part of the country they lived in, they probably let a good 500 to thousands of people get away with those same crimes. And then they just woke up one morning and they were just like, you know what? This doesn't sit right with us. Don't y'all guys think that this is like bad, or this isn't something that people should normally, or normal functioning people should be doing? Let's think about making a law where we could just make it illegal, so if they commit it again, or if they commit it at all, well, you know what I'm saying, punish them. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to wake up and think about that. Like, they had to be mature after seeing everything go on and all the chaos go on across the country and across the world, and just be like, okay, like, no, we need to make this illegal. This shit isn't sitting right. Nobody should just be able to just run up on somebody and just knock them upside the head and just take all their belongings.
Facts.
That should be illegal.
Facts.
Like, that's actually kind of crazy, bro. Humans had to come together and think about something illegal, because this wasn't just like human born made. They didn't just like, nobody on Earth was just born and just make these, like, you know. So I always think about that, bro. It's crazy.
That's how people were executed.
I think about how the hell.
1900.
Now he talking. I know this video finna be long as hell. I know. But look, I be thinking about how the hell, who come up with some shit like this? What's wrong with you? What they do to you as a kid? Beat you? What's your problem? Who comes up with something like this?
Cane torture sits at 62 points.
That one's crazy.
However, even this horror is far from being the worst thing people ever came up with. Europeans during the Middle Ages were especially creative in acts of cruelty.
Man, don't tell me what the hell to do, bitch.
They invented and actively used a contraption called the Judas Cradle. It's a spiky or metal pyramid secured on a support with a special clamp over it. First, the victim's arms and legs were tied, and then their trunk was secured with a metal ring attached to the ceiling or the wall with ropes. After this, the person was slowly seated on the pyramid's sharp point. I won't go into the horrific anatomical details.
Oh, I know where this is going, bro.
Since it's clear anyway that the process caused unbearable pain.
Oh!
It could go on for days. Executioners wanted to receive a confession or other information, but the victim remained silent. They tied weights to their arms and legs, causing the pyramid edges to gnaw at the poor person's body even more. As if that wasn't enough, the Judas Cradle was never cleaned, so it became the
No, ew, fuck that shit. Oh my god, no, that had it right there. That had it right there.
Yeah, I'd have crashed out.
Got motherfucking butt juice, fucking poop juice, all types of shit, and don't even let me get started. If a nigga, imagine a nigga had an STD, bro.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I was waiting on you to say that. I was waiting on you to say that. Come back. Come back real quick though. 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 Come back real quick though.
Sickening educational video right here, bro.
What if somebody had diarrhea one time they was on it?
Come to realization on that entire situation, that is disgusting. That is disgusting, bro.
Facts.
That is disgusting.
All this shit disgusting.
Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like, bro, whenever they was doing punishments like this, bro.
What he's ranting about now, the pyramid, or them putting this stuff down your throat, urine and feces and whatnot. Yeah, alright, boy, I'd have built the chopstick back then. You tripping? Alright, I wish somebody would come try to get me. I'm gonna knock every last one of y'all ass off.
90% of the diseases that you hear about and see about now, like, they had that come.
I'd have found a way.
The fact that he was cleaning that's nasty, bro. Man.
Breeding ground for deadly bacteria. So, even if the victim...
Even the people that's not even getting punished, that's handling the equipment, trying to move it around and stuff like that, they didn't have soap invented back in the day. They wasn't washing their hands. They went right home.
When the hell did they invent soap? And what was they doing before then? And toothpaste and deodorant and all the other stuff too. What the hell? Ugh. Y'all nasty. Hell, what y'all did?
Go hunt some deer or something like that and eat. Bare hair. Oh my goodness. Ew. No wonder the life expectancy, I think back then they said was like what, 25 years old, I think, or 20.
At any rate,
bro,
they
I see why.
Scarred physically and psychologically for the rest of their lives.
I see why.
That's why the Judas Cradle received 79 points on the
Judas Cradle,
crossing the midpoint.
Whoever named Judah.
The first device to go beyond 100 in our list is the oubliette. It's a horizontal tunnel with the only way out in the form of a grated opening above, used as a dungeon. Often, it was so narrow that the prisoners couldn't even sit down. Moreover, oubliettes were built right there in the castle so that the victims could hear human voices and smell the food, causing them even more psychological suffering.
That's fucked up.
Yet, the real torture was the fact that the prisoners were literally forgotten about in these holes.
Really?
And they slowly died of thirst, hunger, exhaustion, and infections.
Wow.
Compared to this, a Judas Cradle execution was a swift way to relieve one's suffering. The oubliette is a kind of immurement, which has been practiced.
So, if you heard that, the only way for them to get out of that is to go to the Judas Cradle?
No, ancient times,
that's not what he said, my boy.
In the Roman Empire,
that's not what he said.
The most influential Vestals who had broken their virginity pledge were sentenced to death. It was against the law to shed
Bring it back!
Their blood, though. So they were
Bring us back!
Alive.
Bring us back!
For a slow, desperate death.
Yeah, bring it back. Do it if you want to. Do it if you want to. Get it up if you want to.
If you think this insane practice remained in days past, you're wrong. In Mongolia, this barbaric execution method was still in use until at least 1913. So immurement, in its different variations, receives 108 points on the pain scale.
The hell wrong with y'all?
What if
the
you're
hell?
not alone in this closed space? Then it's an entirely different kind of punishment.
Then I got some food.
Rat torture. As far
I
back
feel like
as
I've heard
in the
of that
1st century AD, the cruelest emperor in the history of the Roman Empire, Nero, used rats to torture those who fell out of favor. They say he put the victim into a barrel with hungry rats.
Bitch, do it again. Do it again. Tell me to say bless you one more time. I'm gonna slap the hell out you.
Wide pants.
I said.
First tied around the ankles and then filled with rodents. Any ideas as to which body parts suffered the most?
Out of your ass, they bless you. Who the fuck you telling what to do? Matter of fact, I take this bless you back, bitch.
They
bless you though. You know what I'm saying?
Immobilized them, then placed a bottomless cage on their abdomens and filled it with.
What you got, allergies?
Then they put hot wood coal on the grates, and the rats became unbearably hot. First, they tried gnawing at the cage
some nasal
in
spray.
desperate attempts to escape. Later, though, the rats realized they were standing on a soft human body.
Look, the real ones know.
Attempts to escape. Later, though, the rats realized they were.
Real ones know that this is this is from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Were standing on
Y'all
a
trifling.
Body and started eating their way out through it. Sometimes the cage was put on the victim's head near the mouth or other body parts. I'll let your imagination fill in the details.
I don't wanna.
Now, if you do some weirdo crime, I don't have no sympathy for you.
Facts. The registered people and all that other stuff. You know who you are. You know what I'm talking about. This is for you. They need to bring this back.
But bro, like imagine like you stealing like a motherfucking couple of apples, bro, and they do this to you, bro.
Oh,
This
no, you
is
tripping.
crazy. That's
True.
The most horrible
True.
thing is probably the fact that in South American countries, rat torture was in use until the 1980s. It received 112
That's
points
recent.
on the pain scale.
Damn.
It would seem that there's nothing worse than
They
that.
need to bring it back.
But before
Anybody that got any type of charge done with any type of minor, you know what you do, you know what's up, yeah. Or any type of forced anything. This is for you. Bring it back,
to
bro.
the most horrifying tortures that scored the maximum of 140 points, there are still 2 more devices. The first of which is the rack. This is another deadly invention of the Middle Ages. It looked like a wooden frame with rollers on both ends. The person's limbs were tied to them, and when the torturers would start turning the rollers, the victim's arms and legs would stretch in different directions. This caused unbearable pain due to joint displacement, muscle and ligament ruptures, and, in the most horrific cases, even bone fractures. The executioners could torture the victim like this for hours or even days to beat the confession or the necessary information out of them. Sometimes, a specifically trained person would supervise the victim's condition to keep them conscious and alive before a specific time. So, it's unsurprising that just threatening someone to send them to the rack would often be enough to obtain
Now,
the
I also
necessary...
think about it too. It's crazy, like some of these movies and stuff too, where they have like these crazy like action parts or climaxes of the movie or whatever. Like all that comes from just back in the days of just like weird torture and shit.
Why the hell
The
is this still
information. This horrible type of torture received 116 points on the pain scale. However, citizens of ancient Greece managed to outperform even the cruelty of medieval European torturers, being the creators of one of history's most terrifying torture devices, the brazen bull.
I feel like I heard about that.
I was about to say I heard about that
Named
shit.
Paralos as a commission for a Sicilian tyrant, Phalaris, in the 16th century BC. It was a hollow copper statue of a bull with a hatch on its side. A person would
They
be
won't know
pushed
way to get
inside.
out that hatch.
The hatch would be shut, and then the torturers would start a fire under the bull's belly. Furthermore, the statue's nostril structure made the victim's scream sound like the bull's bellow. Yet this barbarism was apparently not enough. So after the execution, the victim's bones were used to make jewelry to then be sold on markets. The inventor of this hellish machine realized very quickly that doing business with tyrants was a bad idea, since the first person Phalaris tried out the brazen bull on was Paralos himself. First, the man's skin started burning in the places where it touched the metal. Then, the hot air gradually burned his airways and lungs. He went on to slowly cook alive before choking to death or going unconscious.
That's crazy.
Before this, though, Paralos went through the agony that reached 130 points on the pain scale. Even this horror, though, won't compare to the fate of those sentenced to lynching. It's definitely one of the most barbaric punishments in humanity's entire history.
Really?
And it hails from Asia. It was used in China, Vietnam, and Korea right until the early 20th century.
Damn.
To punish perpetrators of the most heinous crimes like mass murder and high treason, as well as to eradicate the emperor's personal enemies. It comes as no surprise, since the victim would be tied to a pole in a crowded space to turn the execution into public humiliation. Then, a few torturers would slowly cut pieces of flesh out of the convict's arms, legs, and chest. We know from historical records that during Ling Chi, the victim would suffer from 100 to 3,000 wounds. That's why this torture is also dubbed.
Is that what Kevin Hart was talking about in Ride Along, talking about some death by 1,000 cuts? Or underlined by 1,000 cuts? Is that what he was talking about?
Death by 1,000 cuts. Although the experts state that with such wounds, a person would most likely die within 20 minutes. Sometimes the families of the victims would bribe the executioners to inflict a deadly wound right away. This wouldn't remove the victim's physical pain, but it's worth remembering that for the Chinese, Ling Chi was also a spiritual punishment. According to their beliefs, this disfigurement of the body wouldn't allow the victim to be whole and healthy in the afterlife. This horrific execution method officially remained in use in China until 1905. This type of torture received the most points on the pain scale, 140. I've told you all this exclusively for educational purposes and to tickle your nerves. But I hope it didn't reach torture level. If you enjoy experiencing extreme sensations without putting yourself in danger,
Flight.
you'll
Hey,
find
man.
many exciting victories.
Hey!
You know what? Out of all of these, painful punishments was the worst. For me, I'm trying to like pick. And not
I ain't gonna hold you.
just for him labeling the videos. I always like the random like thought. I love when like YouTubers like be like labeling like the videos and stuff like this.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you do it? You don't.
Bro, like I say, nah, bro. It has to be. What's the one where they made you see? Yeah, the Judas Cradle. That has to be the worst one, in my opinion, because bro, you gotta think about it, bro. The sanitary reason of it.
You just hell no. I get what you're saying, but no. Let me show you the worst one. Let me show you the worst one. That's the nastiest one. That's the most trifling fucking one. Y'all are some fucked up people. But the worst one though, let me show you this is the worst one. Oh my God. Oh Lord, hell no. I wouldn't. What? Do you know? Bruh, my thumb got fractured a little. I had a small thumb fracture when I was 8 years old. That was the worst pain I ever felt in my life. Got me fucked up. Anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. That's gonna do it for this video, bro. Like and subscribe. Comment some more stuff you want me to react to. Comment some more stuff you want Flight to react to. Tell Flight to get to watch this video. Get this video to a Flight. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, all praise to the Most High. Y'all have fun with y'all life, bro. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Eat fruit and whatnot.